Welcome back to your normal programming. This is your host, Michael Rogers. Been a while since I've been on. We've had a weird couple of months here in America, all over the world, really. Have you guys heard of 3-Eye Atlas? I've heard of it. Things like this are probably a distraction, and I'm going to show you how the simplest the simplest investigations are usually the right answer. It isn't something that's overly complicated and all this stuff that all these ABC organizations and bureaus and all this shit throw out here for a show. 3-Eye Atlas, if you haven't heard, because of the Charlie Kirk assassination and everything else that's been going on. What's the third letter of the alphabet? A, B, C. I. Atlas starts with A. C-I-A. That's all you need to know. That's it. So we can wipe that off the chalkboard. That's all gonna be a hologram in the fucking sky or something. That is gonna be a deception tactic that makes the whole plan of what has always been fed to you seem real. They can already fool you with AI. Imagine if they could shoot a holograph out in the sky to make you think that this big thing is coming towards you and it has alien probes and all this shit. It's like the spaceship in China, or where was it? Taiwan or Taiwan? What was it? No, it was China. Yeah, over in China, they shot at a UFO or a UAP, and it disassembled in the air and kind of swerved to the right and put itself back together and outflow. They can catch a clear picture of anything, of the whole world. But when it comes to show you anything with UFOs, UAPs, anything else, they can't catch a clear picture of that for anything. Why? Why can't you show us if you do have the clear pictures? It's always on a radar. It's always on a whatever. It's all people. Donald Trump. Let me layer this for everybody. This is a big shit cake. Okay? We're going to start with the layer. Bottom layer. Rolling out of the military, saying everything is lawless. It's lawless. The lawless. They're calling me the lawless one. I'm not the lawless. They don't know law. Lawlessness. Look it up. Two, doing something about lawlessness. He's going to roll the military out, right, to major cities. Major cities go first in all wartime strategy. It does. He always want to take out New York, Chicago, LA, and then go from there. Donald, I call him Don. Don didn't roll him out to Chicago yet. Memphis while yes, that is a very violent city, there's also a very quiet, small, not a lot of, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's commerce and stuff, but it isn't a major hitter city. DC, they knew they could pull that off because that's where your nation's capital is. That's where all your precious documents, FBI, Pentagon, all this shit that was also, and we'll get into that later. That's where all that is. So that was what you call like a soft start. Well, if we do it in D.C., we could say it's for the protection of all of this and that. People will be with that. Yeah, they'll be with that. Okay. He said he was going to Chicago. All of the thugs and criminals, they're gonna... Well, here's the thing about Chicago. There may be more crime and homicide. I don't know. I would say that per capita, per person, there probably is more crime and murders and stuff like that in Memphis than there is in Chicago if you scale it down from person, people. But overall, I think Chicago is probably the most violently murderous city in America. He didn't want to send them there because he knew that was going to be a resistance, and then you have to take civilians out in the middle of the street and execution style. You got to set up curfews. You're gonna roll through there, and because the people in Chicago that are doing all the crime versus the people in Memphis that are doing all the crime, it's a whole different set of ego, of rules, of codes of the street. Overall, how would I even word it? Like, Memphis is a small town crime. Chicago's big town crime. Just a grander scale of thing. There's too much metropolitan area all scooped up into one with like commerce and skyscrapers and banks and all these big law firms and things like that, and then you'll have like 10 blocks of neighborhoods, then 10 more blocks of that. So that's a very strategically hard city to run in and take out like that. And in all reality, he ought to be sending them in there to those big buildings and banks and law firms and all that and busting them people too. Because that's where you got your crime down here in Memphis, you got your crime right here in Chicago, then in the skyscrapers, that's where your real crime's going on. But them are the people who pay the people to send to the neighborhoods in between them buildings. Don't get it twisted. It's all a setup. It's all a setup. And it's working out perfectly. And we're too fucking stupid to do anything. Because we are noticing American people are waking up. No matter which side you're on, you're starting to wake up. Not be woke, but wake up. There's a difference in being woke and waking up. I've been woke up while standing up, and I wasn't awake, yet I was sleeping. I do it all the time. I sleepwalk. It's a major problem in my life. Anyways, what I was saying is, no matter if you're left-wing liberal or right-wing conservative, Democrat, Republican, independent, anything like that, it doesn't matter which side you're on right now, because people are waking up on both sides to the bullshit that the other side spills. Like left-wing liberal Democrats are starting to wake up to, like, hey, it is kind of odd that all these democratic cities that are being run are fucked up. And people on the Republican and stuff, that's just an example. People on the Republican side are starting to wake up to the fact that, like, this dude might be in these files, man. Kash Patel looks like a fucking embarrassed schoolyard bully that's getting called out on his bullshit. And he's starting. No, he was like, "Do you even know your ABCs? A, B, 1, no, 2, 2." Like, dude, I voted for you guys, man. I voted for y'all because 2 reasons, really. The other vote was not anything I wanted to do with, even more so. But y'all are kind of acting like a dog you bring into the house, and it seems a little friendly, and like it can make your life better a little bit, and then the motherfucker turns around to bite you, shits in your floor, steals your food off your plate. The last Trump presidency, even though he was going through a lot more stuff with people trying to impeach him and do all this stuff, my life, honestly, and I didn't vote for him the first time, my life financially was, I can't say financially I was better off, but, like, that's when I grew more financially. That's when I prospered more financially, like right now it's kind of like plateauish. But it's kind of starting to go, and plateau's starting to have a little fall to it. I went to the store the other day. $32 for 2 steaks. I'm not a big steak eater. When I do have a steak, I like to cook it myself. I can pay $32 for 2 steaks. I can't pay $32 for 2 steaks, though. It's not right. It's just not right. Now, I got beef, but I don't got no beef. Anywho, we're starting to wake up to all of the realizations of the fact that both sides are for each other. Both sides are against each other. They'll work together for a common goal, then turn around and eat each other. They ain't got no soul. That's what makes me know that my first point, the UFO stuff, all that. 2, Trump sending military into major cities, and then it's going to trickle down into... Have you ever seen that movie, kind of like it'll probably ultimately end, like that movie In Time with Justin Timberlake? And anyways, first it'll start with big cities, it'll go into smaller cities, there'll be blockades, there'll be curfews, there'll be bars or swingy thingies in front of stores with military personnel standing in front of them with guns that outweigh your guns and outshoot your... You're not going to have guns by then, because believe it or not, the right wing will fold and collapse to the left wing's need to take the guns. But in return, that will serve back to the right with They're a very militant state. I don't agree with a military state. I don't agree with a gray state. I don't agree with martial law. I don't give a fuck what they're doing in Chicago or Memphis. I don't give a flying fuck what they're doing. What you need to do, America, what I need to do, America, is give the power back to the people. And that sounds cliche. But what I'm saying is, I buy a house in Chicago. I notice 63rd's there, 65th is there. I'm just a normal dude. I do electrician, something, fuck, I don't know. I buy a house because I need somewhere to live. I want, whatever. I ain't hurting nobody. I might, party on the weekend or some shit. Just a normal dude. I buy a house in Chicago. Here's how it should be. Hypothetically, I buy a house in Chicago. I move in. Boom. Somebody shoots the neighbor's house up. Kills them, whatever. Maybe the neighbor, or they just do the wildest shit. People don't care, man. They kill indiscriminately. Somebody messes somebody up near me. If me and 5, 6, 10, 15, 20 everybody in this neighborhood gets together and there's like, we're going to find this small group of people and we're going to execute them if we can prove it. Or bring them in on some kind of, maybe go get them around, do whatever. You got to give the I don't know how all that works. That the details are there. We get fucking whatever. It just needs to be situational like that. Like, if I see somebody break in my neighbor's house, I'd be able to gun them down in the middle of the driveway. Cops come and clear my weapon that's registered to me, and I'm not a criminal on my day-to-day basis. Hey, Mr. Rogers, thank you for that, buddy. You're a protector of your neighborhood. Good. Within a day, these people will quit doing shit like this. It's not hard, people. And I'm not an extremist, and I'm not, but let the government come over a public service announcement and tell me, America, we're going to start letting y'all kind of, we need to really get rid of crime and stuff. Help us. I shouldn't be able to look next door and somebody be robbing my neighbor and I shoot him and I go to prison for 25 years. I'm not a criminal. That guy was. Probably ain't the first house he's ever robbed. Probably wouldn't be. What if there's a kid in there and it hurts him? Oh, that don't matter. You put your nose into something that wasn't your property. Yeah. See how this shit's working? Now you gotta have ring cameras and surveillance all over your house and lock yourself in a room and hope that the cops get there in time. But they want to defund the cops and they don't want... Man. But the worst thing is it's all set up for civil unrest. Because I'm going to get tired of it eventually. You're going to get tired of it eventually. I don't care if you're a fucking gay person, black, white, blue, trans, furry. People are getting tired of it. Then, that's number 2. Number 3, Kirk. Charlie Kirk. And see, that, I think, that right there, they were loading up the powder keg. I'm going to say one name. Similarities are there. Non-similarities aren't there. Franz Ferdinand. Charlie Kirk. what was this? I've been watching Charlie Kirk clips and 25 verse Charlie and I've watched his stuff for a long time. I'm not even going to say I'm a follower of it, because I'm not a follower of any man. I watch their stuff. I agree with a lot of what Charlie said. I don't agree with a lot of what Charlie said. I really liked his I don't want to call it programming. I liked his programming. Even I don't have to agree with something to like it, to like to watch it. You know, I don't really like Joe Rogan, but I love his podcast because it's just something to put on when when you're working on a car or something. But sometimes you catch good. Either way, I have been watching his stuff for a long time, and I will say this: that he only wanted, I think, one thing over converting you to Christianity, over opening up a conversation. He wanted one thing, and a lot of people never could see it. I picked up on it probably within the first 7 to 10 minutes of watching the first thing I've ever seen from him. He's not bashing you. He's not judging you. He wasn't giving you moral high standard looking down upons. He wanted one thing, I believe, and that was for people to think for themselves. That's it. Was he insulting? Yeah, he was kind of an insulting person. I don't think he meant to be. I think that he possibly had or was a bit on the spectrum a little bit, kind of like Elon. Like, you could tell from the way he would I don't think he was meaning to be smug or like uninterested seeming. I think he was a very interested person in what you were saying. I think he just was a bit on the spectrum of having it looked like he was like chewing on a jawbreaker or something all the time. But anyways, these are just nuances I pick up on people. You know, he wanted you to think for yourself, and I think he truly stood on what he said, even if it was borderline insulting to you, because he wanted to show you, not from him. I don't think he cared. I think he's a lot like, he cares about your life, but if you sit there and tell him, well, that's not me, that's your problem. That's your life, man. And at that point, I don't care, but I do care. I'm not going to care about somebody that can have evidence in front of them for 100 years or 1,000 years or however long, of this is why things are like this, and you keep saying this way right here, and I've heard this many a times, and I've been taught this is the right way, but you know what, I'm going to keep going this way because fuck you, and I want to do what I want to do. And then boom, a year later they're back at the same. Well, why is everybody, you're trying to take our rights, and it's like, no, man. I'm telling you, evidence. He was an evident thinking person, not facts, because facts are fluid. Facts aren't real. Evidence is. It's a fact. He was shot, right? Evidence shows many different things, of all which could be true. Fact and truth are two different things. Facts change, the truth doesn't. UFOs rolling the military in. Charlie Kirk, while we're on this subject, because this all ties in together. Peter Thiel, the guy that backs J.D. Vance, he's doing a 4-part documentary on the Antichrist. Why? Why would you do that, Peter Thiel? Now, if I done it, or a preacher done it, or if somebody that isn't Peter Thiel done it, I would probably not ask that question, because I believe everybody should do a documentary on what their interpretation of this is, and we all talk about it. But it's all about, he's one of the purveyors of like Homeland Security visual fucking surveillance on people. When you roll the military out, what's going to be their best? What's already stuff like the armed forces, the CAI, the FIB, all these. Surveillance is probably their biggest tool, and their most dangerous tool. It isn't their guns. Next to the ink pen, it's probably the worst tool ever. Surveillance. Somebody watching you. Somebody studying you. You're a test. Somebody looking at their little lab rats. Well, how are they gonna react to us popping this dude on a campus and then blatantly lying to them about probably allegedly almost every fact of what this other part of the story even is? You change clothes 3 times. You got a gun twice as long as your backpack and your bag, broken down. Both sides are longer than your bag is. You've got clothes. You've got, what else? He probably had other things in the bag. A towel for sure. You probably couldn't even roll a towel up and put it in that backpack. That's just a part, Then you got the whole Mossad thing and him being pissed off at Bibi Netanyahu. Or not pissed off, but like scared of him. It ain't no secret. Them motherfuckers get you whacked. Israel. Is it real? Is he real? Israel. I don't know. Then and just everybody take in what I'm saying. Even that play of word. That ain't because I can write good songs and do double entendres. That's it's in your face. Israel? Is it real? Is it real? I don't know. Is it real? But anywho, the name, and I haven't heard anybody talk about this. This is breaking news. I'm the first to say this, and I want this fucking to be time-stamped, date marked. It's 9/18/2025. The name of Charlie Kirk's business was Turning Point. A lot of media personnel and reporters and stuff I've been watching and listening to keep using this weird phrase lately called point of no return. Turning point, point of no return. Turning point, point of no return. They throw it in your face, people. They throw it directly in your face. You just got to pay attention. But what I'm trying to get at with all this is this is a spark for civil unrest, and boom, they bring the spaceship in November, and people are freaking out, and it's like time to put everybody under your protection. Your protection. If you give up your rights for protection, you don't deserve neither. Or some shit. That's what Benjamin Franklin, I think, said. He probably stole it from Nikola Tesla. But anyways, y'all, pray, keep your heads clear, love your neighbor, love your neighbor's neighbor, keep your enemies close, keep your friends off your Facebook page, because they're going to turn into your enemies. Trust me, we eat each other. Maybe we are all zombies. Either way, they've been showing you that for years too, so, well, we kind of already are all zombies. Everybody, did you know that the last, I don't want to call it generation, but like last set of kids and the last set of kids before that, their necks and fingers are growing different than previous generations because of cell phones, where they're like this all the time? We are zombies. They're going to turn us into zombies. And then, you walk with the dead, or whatever Alpha and Beta said. We walk with the dead. Whisper. But I hope people don't start, instead of getting on the internet and being hateful, get on the internet and agree with people. Because you probably do deep down. Because a lot of people that I see that are... I'll give you a good example. I know somebody that always claims that just... I wish they would leave people the hell alone. I wish they would quit treating the person I know's race different than another race. I wish that I could do better for myself. I wish that, people could just all get along. But then that same person will turn around and spew race hate, not do for themselves, and get themselves in trouble all the time, that cause them to have to interact with the people that treat them differently. They don't get along with anybody because they can't listen to people and have a dialect with or just a conversation with a person and be like, you know what, I don't agree with your opinions, but you're my boy. It has to be aggressive talking and loud over people and fucking storming out and all this shit. And then expect for people to not feel weird about that. Don't do that. If you have a friend that I have some homework for people. If you have a friend that you feel like you possibly could lose in these times because of your differences, you should sit down with this person, hug them, pray with them, listen to what they have to say, you say what you have to say. Y'all talk back and forth with each other. Never get over the next person's loudness, decibel. go into it with a mind of we're not going to agree on everything, because if you did agree on everything, this world would be fucking crazy. um, just listen. That's the problem. People don't listen anymore. People can't listen because their attention span, including mine, it works in like 19-second intervals, and we just skip through half of that to get to the end of it. That's a fact. And facts change. Truth don't. The truth is, and I know that I'm not perfect by no means. I'm sitting here lighting a cigarette, and I cuss too much. And I'll drink a beer every now and again, and I don't know why. I started drinking beer again a little bit. Like, I ain't even been getting drunk or nothing, but I hate the taste of alcohol. I fucking hate the taste of alcohol. I've never liked it. But the past couple weekends, I've just kind of wanted a beer. Or 4. I haven't gotten drunk. I don't like getting drunk. It makes my head hurt. It makes me sick. I don't like the taste of it. So what's that mean? That's a fact. I don't like it. So facts change. The truth don't. The truth is, I kind of think I like beer a little. I don't know. You know? Just pray. You gotta pray. You've got to pray. I've been, oh man, I don't want to call it a come apart. I think the Holy Spirit hit me in my car the other morning on the way to work. And I was listening to, what song was I listening to? He Will Never Fail, I believe. And I'm singing along with it, and I started crying. And it wasn't anything I could control. And that's how I know. That's how I know. Because when people die, I can control crying. When people hurt me, or when I get hurt, I can control crying. I can't control crying when that spirit hits me. And I try to walk in the spirit every day, and it don't work every day. I wish it did. Lord, I wish it did. But it doesn't always. So I pray about it, and I think about it, and I just hope this country gets back on track. This world gets back on track. You got to pray for the whole world. It ain't just our country. It's everywhere. So I'll let you get back to your normal programming.